He
even on his art, because he has art on his webpage. It's very Masonic. I mean, you'll catch the Eye of Providence, you'll catch pyramids, you'll catch everything.
Hey guys, Cullen Smith here. Welcome back to Lifting the Veil. I mean, it's absolutely spot on. It is completely accurate in my opinion. I mean, I am totally on board with what he's presenting here, because it's everything that I've come across from my own self-discovery and interpretations of everything as well. The Vajra or Dorja is a conception of the electromagnetic behavior of the sun in respect to the other orbiting planets. And I don't know if he hand drew these or what, but they are absolutely astounding drawing, just absolutely stunning. And it's beautiful, and it's entirely accurate as well. Because in the electric universe theory, the sun is powered externally by giant electrical currents known as Birkeland currents, and they are literally, it is giant filaments of electric magnetic currents flowing all throughout the universe, exactly as we have those same currents microcosmically in our own brains, because it is a universal pattern. It is a pattern of energy that feeds itself all the way down fractally, the same way that large vessels, large dendrites become smaller capillaries, all at all scales throughout nature. And so it is this cosmic rope, this magnetic rope that feeds from the sun, passes into through the earth, and we know that rope connects to the North Pole of Saturn as well. So it passes through the earth, creates this, and this is exactly what I'm not sure if I've shown it yet, but I will show this at some point. This is the exact same homologous representation of the synapses of the human brain, as well as the joints of the knee, or certain joints of the skeleton structure. And of course, it is the world axis, the world pillar, the cosmic axis of the polar axis of the Earth, the electromagnetic field, the dielectric plane of inertia. So it's a beautiful illustration of the Earth-Sun electromagnetic relationship. And so what we see here in this amazing drawing by him, and I love just how beautiful his curves are. Oh, dude, that sounds so gay. But no, seriously, like, I love how beautiful the curves that he draws are, just like so perfect. The trajectories are just so pleasing to the eye, and they're so beautifully drawn. And but yeah, so what he's depicting here is, it's so perfectly that, like, I can't believe I just randomly came across this just by totally unrelated occurrences. But so again, it's the quadrupole, or a pair of dipoles. And I love how, just again, the way the curves are drawn is visually, you can just see you can capture that visual pattern of the flow of each dipole, and it's just beautiful. But yeah, it's an amazing drawing. Exactly what I was explaining earlier about the quadrupolar dynamic of the sun. Filaments carrying current in the same direction are attracted to one another. They will collimate, which means to make parallel, to bring into line. So in other words, they dance and do this spiral with each other. The filaments exhibit both long-range attraction and short-range repulsion. Together, these two forces cause the filaments to twist around one another. This geometric combination of the electric and magnetic forces produces a radial force on nearby ions and electrons inwards towards the centers of the filaments. In other words, the filaments act as ion sumps, clearing the surrounding space of matter, which is, again, creating that sine wave pattern of repulsion and attraction. Once these elements approach the filaments, the process of Markland convection radially sorts them into concentric rotating cylinders. Helium forms a diffuse outer layer followed by a hydrogen layer. Then oxygen and nitrogen in the middle layers, and iron, silicon, and magnesium. If the charge density increases, both the geometry and the state of the plasma can transition into a Z-pinch. Z-pinches are incredibly powerful scavengers. They can condense this matter into spherical balls of plasma, like beads on a string.
And so this is an original correspondence that I had just made. I've done previous writings in the past, and you guys may have seen from my Winged Crown of the Immortal Gods presentation, which is now I've restricted it to patrons only because that will be coming in future films as well. So we'll go so much deeper into that. But again, as I showed in that, was again how Schwaller de Lubitsch had discovered and shown the correlations between the Egyptian Scarabaeus and directly being the same exact morphology and homologous image of the human brain, of the human skull, of the human cranial vault, with the same actual sutures corresponding to the human skull. And but I've gone even further, and I've actually noticed that it's fractal again, so it's not just the skull at large. It's actually literally the depiction of the diencephalon itself. Again, the two-headed bulb at the top of the staff is literally, and that's literally the exact same physical dynamic that the ancient Egyptians were depicting here with this imagery of the Scarabaeus, is literally depicting the body of the corpus callosum, which composes the dual toroidal or the bi-bowl dynamic of the forceps minor and the forceps major. Again, you have a major and a minor, corresponding again to the major aspect being the sun, the minor aspect being the moon. So of course, they have it actually, reversed here, or the image is actually flipped upside down. So of course, this is the same exact dynamic. The larger, the greater is the solar aspect, the masculine principle, and the lesser is the feminine or the lunar principle. So that's exactly what they are depicting here. As I covered earlier on with the phi ratio dynamic of the lemniscus, again being solar and in phi proportion to the lunar being the lesser. So that's exactly why they're showing the wings of the Scarabaeus is literally representative of the insula, is literally representative of the very core body of the corpus callosum, showing us that either the ancient Egyptians knew a lot more about physiology and human anatomy than we have ever attributed or given them credit for, or that this is a major cosmic universal sync of synchromysticism working its way throughout our entire body of knowledge and physics as we know it. So it's literally just could just be a universal sync that is pretty much just like too coincidental to even be coincidence. So I would lean towards the latter, is that the ancient Egyptian actually had prior knowledge much more advanced than we basically even could conceive of, or at least give them credit for. But so again, this is the literal hyperbolic, the hyperboloid dynamic that creates the very core structure, the hyperboloid structure inside the very core of the human brain, which is literally, again, created by the electromagnetism. And so this has much greater significance for the diencephalon and the Scarabaeus, and we will go into that in full separate presentation on its own, just for that topic alone. But so again, this is the universal hyperbolic principle that creates the Z-pinch of the intersecting Birkeland filaments, which create the X chromosome, which create, again, the mortal coil, the electric currents which create the DNA, and again the cosmic universal electric currents which create, again, the hyperbolic 0 point with the Z pinch crushing it at the center into form, producing light and energy and heat, which is again exactly what is created by the thrust of the rocket engine, creating the combustion force with the Z pinch.
All right, guys, I'm terribly sorry, but that we are out of time. That's all the time that we have for this segment of the film. So we will split this up and continue it in the next video. So click the link in the description below, or the box at the top of the corner at the end of this video to click on into the next segment of this video portion. But I've had to limit it to, by popular request, to specifically time limits. So yeah, thank you. That's literally what, so that's what it all means. That's what it all comes from. And I'm sorry I didn't want to make this too long. I wanted to make this a short video, but like as always, you cannot scathe the surface of this stuff. And as always, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch my videos. If you enjoy this information, please share it around with anyone who you think might also appreciate the information. It's my greatest passion, and my purpose and my mission is to continue to produce genuinely inspired and meaningful, uplifting content, intellectual pieces of art.
We haven't even begun to scratch the surface of just how much info is ready and waiting to be produced. I can't even keep up with the amount of output, let alone the amount of writing that is coming through. We haven't even gotten started yet. We are just warming up.
And so we just need to take care of this business, guys. If I can meet my second minimum goal, I will never have to ask or beg for funding ever again. So I want to get to that point where I never have to ask you ever again, because I hate doing it, honestly. I really do. So I hope I never have to ask again by reaching these minimum goals. Because as it stands right now, I am not able to do this full time. I simply am not making enough to pay off the amount of effort that goes into these. So I can't practically do it right now. So we have to meet these minimum goals. Otherwise, I can't do this. Please help me continue in this mission. And check out the merch in the links below. Help support my channel that way, or support my channel on patreon.com/liftingtheveil. Links in the description below. And I will see you guys in the next video. So there is so much more content coming up. First in the lineup is the 6-hour film that I'm going to divide up about the New World Order agenda and the truth about veganism. It will be a part 2 of my other viral film that went out, so the truth about veganism. So stay tuned for that next. It's almost finished. I'm just polishing up. I want to make sure I cover all the details, so it's very in-depth, and that way there's no confusion to leave you hanging. So look for that next.